Yet there's no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright world to which I go. I'm going there to see my Father. I'm going there no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I know dark clouds will gather round me. I know my way is rough and steep, yet beauteous fields lie just before me, where God's redeemed their vigils keep. I'm going there to see my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'll soon be free from every trial. My body asleep in the old churchyard. I'll drop the cross of self tonight and enter on my great reward. I'm going there to see my loved ones who have gone before me one by one. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I want to wear a crown of glory when I get home to that good land. I want to shout salvation's glory in concert with that blood-washed band. I'm going there to see my Savior. to the things that you've heard. And
Yeah.
I do believe that my Lord has blessed my brothers, and I'm just asking for a little bit of prayer, just a little bit longer. I don't know about you, but this morning I came to have church, and if you're thinking about what you want to do after this, you came for the wrong reason, because there's still time and there's still a reason, and the reason these brothers have told you about here this morning, and if you didn't get nothing from it, it was nothing but the truth, and that's your own fault. You need to get your mind off yourself just for a moment of time and put your eyes up to something a little higher than this old world right here. You need to be in earth for a moment, brother, not on earth, as you were saying. Let me tell you, here this morning, I've been thinking an awful lot about what I may say. I've been thinking an awful lot about what somebody may need to hear this morning. But then, you know, the funny thing is when I don't introduce and I don't come after introduction and I hear the brothers continue to preach and say this and say that, they're hitting on things I've been thinking about. And I don't want to have to repeat. But you know, and then they'll say just that one thing that'll send old Shad in another direction. And I'm just hoping this morning that the preacher step in. You know, I'm telling you, I've got to the point now to where when people who know me here in North Carolina, when they'll say you're a preacher, that's a hard thing for me to swallow, because I'm nothing more than a vessel of
That's right.
I'm not the preacher. You see, I serve the preacher here this morning. I'm just putting myself out and answer that calling that maybe on a Sunday I can stand for just a moment of time, and He can move in and control my tongue for just a moment. That maybe I can plant a little seed out there. You see, I've been trying here lately to find something. It's springtime, my favorite season, and I wanted to start a garden, so I started some seeds in a little starting kit there, trying to get them to sprout before I put them in the ground. And you know, being a child of God, it doesn't seem like, or it seems like every time I do something, I can find God in it. And you know, there's nothing that you can find God more in than those seeds. You see, I sit there and I held them and I thought, there's going to be, people call this life right here. When it sprouts up, if you go out and chop down a tree, there's people who will complain how you've ended a life. You've killed a living creature. Let me tell you, they're not wrong, because that's where life comes from. It starts no more than a seed, and I'm holding those seeds and thankful that God has given me something so simple that I can take just a few ingredients and put them in the ground, and I can get something to eat for this old fleshly body. And you know, let me tell you, I was reading and it took me back to the book of Matthew here in the 13th chapter, starting just on the first verse. When the Lord was coming through, and just like we always preach in the multitudes, no doubt they followed Him everywhere. But there were so many that He was there on the shore, that He went and He stood upon a ship, and He spoke in parables to the multitudes that just stood on the shore, because they couldn't no doubt fit on the boat He was on. And He started to talk to them about a sower there. He said, "Behold, a sower went forth to sow, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up." How many times in your life, and you can't lie to me and say it hasn't happened, has the Lord put those seeds in your hands and gave you that fertile ground, and instead of putting those seeds where they need to be, oh, you had something else to do, or that old devil swept in and changed your mind, and you let another opportunity pass. I do it all the time, and it beats me to death right after it's over. But how many times do we let that happen? And it said some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, but they started to sprout a little bit. Well, let me tell you, brother, how many times have you started to plant those seeds and you don't take care of them, you don't tend to them? Brother, when the sun came, the Lord told them that it scorched those seeds, and where they had not much earth and didn't have deep roots, that they withered away. And then he starts to talk to them more about some fell amongst the thorns, and the thorns there, brother, now they sprung up and they choked them there. How that plays so much into our lives. Just a few little parables, but others fell into good ground, and they brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. Who has ears to hear? Let them hear this morning. The day is the day of salvation, and the disciples asked my Lord why. Why is it that He speaks to the people in parables there? And my Lord told them, just like us up here, it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but to them it is not given. Think about this life here. When someone wants to attack us here, the first thing they'll do is flip to the front where that Old Testament is, and they'll beat you in the head with it. Once they start doing that, they already don't understand. It takes something as simple as a parable to reach out to this world, and it takes something as simple as a seed to reach out into this world, and the fertile ground is already there. Just like in the physical sense, I've got plenty of ground there. If I tend to it, I can grow something. The climate's just right. The soil is just right, and I've got the water and the sunlight that I need. But even in the spiritual sense, God has given every single one of us something to be able to tend to our seeds if we'll go out and plant them. And let me tell you, there's some grounds out there that I can't grow on, but there's some grounds out there where you may be able to grow on. Do you have your grandchildren here this morning? Do you have your children here this morning? There may be somebody sitting here, or there may be somebody where you work, where only you can plant that seed, and only you can see the 100-fold. Only you can be able to reach out to someone who is lost and dying, and it's what we are to do here this morning.
Amen.
Therefore, speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not. Neither do they understand. This world doesn't understand.
Sure don't.
I woke up this morning with eternity on my mind.
Yep.
I wanted to say heaven, because that's my eternity. But how many people this morning didn't even think about it? If you're waking up this morning not thinking about it, I mean, in my own mind, I'm going to tell you, I'm thinking that your eternity is not my eternity. Because my eternity is on my mind all the time. Heaven's land is on my mind all the time. And you know, there was many a times before I became a Christian, it was fear that drove me into this right here. It was fear that really drove me. There was a point in my life when the brother was talking about teenagers there. See, I didn't find God as a real young man, or just a little boy. I don't even know when I reached that age, but I was already an adult when I started to seek out the Lord. It didn't come early for me, and I can remember times when, being that old teenage boy, being hospitalized because I poisoned myself, and when they would release me, brother, I can remember one time within 6 hours before I was back to doing what had just put me in the hospital. And you know, the Lord, He could have took me right there. Just like the brothers were saying, there's a plan. And if you're breathing His air today, if you're walking on God's green earth here today, you still have a chance to fulfill your purpose. We may not know what it is, and I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that I know what your purpose is, but I'll tell you here this morning, there's no greater purpose for me than to stand up here and hold this word and praise my God and plant those little seeds and watch them grow. You know, I may not live to make it home today. Our visitors may not make it home today. We have no guarantee of seeing another day. But my Lord has He's put a path out there. Just like Brother Jeremy was saying, he don't believe in predestination. I don't either. Not in the sense that some people do. No. I do believe there's a plan. I believe God knows all things. But I do not believe that God made somebody in this room go to hell. Nope. And if you do, we just differ. We can split hairs, as some people like to say. It doesn't matter. But what matters here today is no matter what you believe, you may have a different interpretation. You could read the things that I just said and come away with a different interpretation, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. But what matters is that Jesus Christ, I'll tell you right now, the most important thing is He is the only way to my eternity. And I'm here to tell you about Him here this morning. And if you want to spend your eternity in my heaven, you got to find this man when you reach that age. That man came, and his blood can cover a multitude of sins. I stand before you today as the most wicked person I've ever known, because I don't know anybody else's heart, but I know my own. And when my Lord stepped in, I thought I could outsmart Him, but He knew this heart better than the one that holds it. Or so I thought. He holds everything in the palm of His hand. That heart I thought I controlled. Oh no, brethren. He was the one that made it. He was the one that constructed this man here. You know, I was thinking the other day, you can get your song, don't sing right away, but just have your one ready. I'm going to test you. You can sing when you want, and I'll tell you if it was the right time or not. But I don't want to keep you too long. I think the brothers have preached and told a lot of truth here this morning. But I got to thinking the other day, and I look for it all the time. It wasn't too long. It was when we had our church there in Pilot Mountain, just in the little doctor's office. And before I go there, I'm so thankful, but yet so ashamed about this new church we're getting. I'm thankful because where we're going to be right in Mount area amongst all these people. Not back here next to the chicken farm, and that's great. But just like Brother Chris had mentioned it the other day, and I feel the same way. I can't wait to get into this building because I can't wait to invite somebody.
That's right.
But how shameful it is for me to there's sometimes I haven't invited people because we're in a storefront. And I'm afraid that if they come, they won't come back. And how horrible that is of me to think that way. But that's just my own human nature. And I beat myself up about it all the time. But here in Pilot Mountain, if you live in this area, you know that it's a pretty wealthy little area. You don't see a lot of things like I'm used to back from Kentucky. The poverty and a lot of the things that go on. Because that area is just concentrated around coal and certain types of jobs. But here you've got a lot of people who come here retired because this is a really nice area. And you know, when we had our church there in Pilot, Rachel was sick one day and it was just me and the kids. Silas hadn't came along yet. And we had went to church that Sunday without her. And on the way back, she had texted me and told me she needed some kind of medicine. So I stopped at CVS over there right next to where our church was. And while I was there, I'd seen something I haven't seen ever. I mean, nobody in this shape. I seen a man bent over in one of those big garbage cans. And I'd never seen somebody dressed the way he was. He was wearing jogging pants that were ripped all to shreds with a pair of pants over top of them that were so ripped I could see those jogging pants just about as good as I could the pants he was wearing. And he had socks on that were torn all to pieces and a pair of flip-flops. One that wasn't even staying on his foot all the way. And he had multiple shirts on, I know, because I could see every one of them because of all the holes. And you know, he was unsightly to look upon there. He really was, and I'm not going to lie. And as he was digging through that trash there, I thought to myself, you know, when I go in here, I don't carry cash, but when I go inside of here, I'm going to buy this here. I'm going to buy her medicine, and I'm going to get that cash back, just like you can do with your card. And I went in there and I bought that medicine, and I got $10 cash back. I stepped outside and I looked, and he was standing up on that little hill next to the road, and he had a little lighter and a little piece of a cigarette it looked like he had picked up and had in his mouth, and he was trying to light it, and you know, shame on me what I did. I put that money back in my pocket, and I said, well, I'm going to give him $10 here. You know, he's probably going to walk right behind me and buy him a good lighter and some cigarettes. He's not going to try to help himself. So I got in the car and I turned on the ignition, had the kids in the back, and you know, it came over me just like that. No sooner than I put that car in reverse, the tears started to flow. I had no idea what he would do with that money, and shame on me for keeping that seed all to myself. So I pulled my car over there next to where he was, and I walked up on that hill. I hadn't seen a single person stop and talk to him, and I walked over and I said, sir, I want you to have this money here. And he took that money and he looked at me and he said, son, God bless you for this here. But I told him, I said, God has already blessed me here. I don't need to give money to receive my Lord's blessings. I don't need to give material things for the love of my Lord. Just like I told you, my Lord has already gave me every tool that I need. And if I can help you find your way, that money there, it couldn't have done a thing for him. What I should have gave him was this right here. Let me tell you, when I was lost and undone, every word in here was a guide and a text for me to find my way. When I was broken and couldn't be healed by a doctor, that great physician, he stood, he stepped right on in. When I couldn't be taught, the greatest teacher stepped in and taught me everything I needed to know, and I'm still learning here today. I'm still youth here, standing up amongst people. I feel the smallest amongst all of you, but that's okay, because no matter how small I feel, I can lean on my brothers and my sisters, and I can live to worship to do the new things that I love. You see, I said spring is my favorite season.
Yep. All things are new.
The resurrection. And you know that season's going to come to pass, but not too long ago there was a season that I loved more than anything in this world, and that season was sin. But that season, it came and it passed. And now I'm in a new season that ain't going to end. There's no way that this can end right here. And all that sin and I was doing and all the things that I used to love, those are the things that I hate now. And the things that I used to hate, brother, are the things that I love. And I just want to say here this morning that the church doors are open. And I may announce that they're open, but I can't open and close them. They've been open since you walked through that door. They've been open since before we walked in here and started having church. They were open before I seen that man at CBS. Oh, they were open before I took my first breath in this world. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a day when they're going to close. And this life right here, this short term that we've got, is the only chance you've got to make your amends and to step up and to find my Lord Jesus. Oh, He ain't got to find you. He already knows where you are. You need to reach out and open up your heart just for a little bit of time. If I can find Him 7 miles underground on my face in the coal mines, you can find Him right here in this little storefront. You can find Him in your car on your way home. You can find Him by your bedside. Because if I can't even get cell phone service down there in this old world that won't lean on my Lord, but lean on this world, let me tell you, He can find you in places that you wouldn't think. You go ahead and sing. I love every one of you here this morning.